Hi everyone, today is Tuesday, May the 16th. My name is Anne-Marie Band and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. We are actually going to be talking with Benzinga Pre-Market Prep today at 8:35. Certainly hope to see many of you there. Going to try and get through this very quickly, looking only at the dailies now because we've had a slurry of upward moves. Right? Although these are red candles, the gap up still closed above the close of the prior day. The gap up still closed higher than the close of the prior day. So these would all be green candlesticks if we were just looking at it in terms of where did we close relative to the prior day. Now we are sitting in a range that has a 1.236 Fibonacci expansion off the last wave. But importantly, which I love to use in the near term, I looked at this base and saw all the selling, and we started a rotation, and so I said, all right, I'm going to measure that move and have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expansions up at the 50-day space. Listen, pullbacks are clearly buy zones. Just wait for the pullback. Where's that going to be? You know what? It might be from an hourly candle. You get to see a pullback, but clearly we've got ourselves upward pressure and a little bit of stalling out. Now here's something else. Notice, and I've shown you this on the 2-hour chart, sideways action, breakout, sideways action, breakout. And so this little sideways action gave us the new breakout area, and what we've been doing at that new breakout area is holding for a couple of days. So what does that mean? I would not buy a new high here. I simply would not. Wait for the fade, and if we cannot get up over 530, you know the market has stalled. Getting to the cues, same sort of thing, right? Very big price action channel here that I have. Let's change the shading on this channel just a little bit so that we can see where this upward pressure event looks like. And if I replicate it and move it up here, we can see that we are at the top of the range. All right? You could draw Fibonacci. The point remains the same. Good price action, but what we are seeing is markets that are very much extended, moving way up, and I would say wait for the pullback to go long. Maybe it's yesterday's VWAP that we bounced from. Choose an hourly chart. Pullbacks are buy zones. You don't want to short this, but going long straight out of the break, you could easily get chopped up as it tries to base through the next lines in the sand. Let's take a look at the ES. Daily formations, again, what did I do? I went to this level that had the reversal and moved it straight up the chain. We're sitting right at the top of the formation. I like this for pullbacks being buy zones, but we could sit for a couple of days digesting the move before we head further to the north. Upside pressure, let's duplicate this, see what it gives us. Upside pressure, 5,400, and then below that, 5,371. So those are our upside zones that we want to watch in general. Once more, wait for the pullbacks. This is a very extended chart. I think it's been more than a decade that we've had this sharp of a move to the upside. Whether you think prices ought to move up or ought to move down, just do what the market is telling you. And if buyers stay in control up over the close of the prior day, there's more bullish action to be had. And that looks like about 53.27. Again, above that, 53.70. And then above that, 5,400. On the downside, if we do lose that 53.20-ish area, easily prior congestion is all the way down at 53.03 to 52.87. Let's take a look at the NQ. Darn it, I left my oil long too early. Always hate when I do that. All right, so here we are looking at the NQ, moving up very nicely. Big volume candlesticks, just moving this around. You can see the clear breaks. Break, break, savage move from the 50% area where all of this congestion was. Look at how many days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, pulls back and then completely breaks out. Another break higher, up at brand new highs. What's ahead? 18,760 to 19,000. If we lose the close of yesterday's open, which is around 18,690, 18,687, easily we could come back all the way down to 18,524 as we wiggle around. Let's take a look at the YM. Same thing, absolutely in tandem with each other. All of these, the Dow for the futures still has room to run for the YM high. Still room. Pullbacks are buy zones. We got to stay above the pre-market low, anywhere around there. That's 40,000. Next line in the sand would be 40,180 to 150, somewhere around there, and then 40,325. On the downside, we've got congestion at 39,854 and then 39,734. I do believe we sit in digestion mode today. Big area here for oil, right? We notice that it's moving a little bit sideways over many days, telling us that market action should be coming up into the downward moving average. So we could easily get to 79.90, maybe even 80, all right? Big wicks, volume, not so much. The big volume candlestick is really this one right here, and this very large congestion zone is in play. I want to short the 80s, but I did buy 78.50 this morning, and it's done very, very nice. I actually covered it before I got on the call. Pullbacks going to be buy zones. I'd like the 78 to give me another shot to the upside. It may not, but I do know where we're headed. We're very likely headed back up to 80. All right, finally, let's take a look at gold. Gold in a little bit of a topping formation, right? The dollar's also in a space where it could be bouncing. There's a very nice short somewhere around 2,400, perhaps even 2,390. Now, are we below the close of the prior day? Yes, that means sellers are now forcing us down into support zones. Where could those be? 43.70 to 43.62, maybe even, 23.70 to 23.62, maybe even 23.50 to 23.48. All right, that's what we're looking at. Momentum is shallow but positive. It means the pullbacks are still buy zones. Stay frosty, everybody. Today is going to be probably fairly choppy.